attending Legislative Conference of National Association of Counties. Interesting thing is, there is an answer for all this, in my opinion. And the infrastructure bill is one solution. And also, I heard one of the secretaries of President Biden was talking about his goal. President's goal is to bring internet connection to every household in the United States next 10 years, which is absolutely an ambitious goal, but it looked like they're bringing money to. Many times they tell you, go do this, but this time there are money, infrastructure bill, and so on and so forth. And so I just wanted to thank a number of people because today, here, and I learned one thing: there is no magic in one person. We do it things collectively and bringing our community stakeholders. That's why we are. I'm joined by our Fort Bend County IT Director Robin Dottie here, and also in a short notice, we are able to bring Dr. Robert Bostic, the superintendent of Stafford Municipal School District. He was able to come. I specifically asked my staff to call Dr. Bostic because the first time I saw him, I saw that he's walking around with a couple of robots in his hand. That's like 10 years ago. And so this is a very passionate issue for him. I know it. And also he deals with children. So thank you, sir. Thank you for being here, and thank you. And at this point, also, I just wanted to bring some brief information where we stand in Fort Bend County. Definitely, we finished a study, broadband feasibility study, and we wanted to thank Dwight Thomas from Cobb-Finley. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. They are the one did the study, and FBC's underserved areas identified including Fulshire, Symington, Arcola, Fresno, Thompson, Needville, and Siena area. This number, I believe it is not a complete number. 61,000 households have been identified as not having adequate internet services. And I believe it is much higher than that. And also, I come to find out more than 20,000 households, we are not sure their condition, whether they are underserved or we don't know. So that also, if you add it, that is 81,000 households. Those children, those families don't have access to a reliable internet connection. We must guarantee a connectivity for our residents, schools, students, and businesses. And we have to invest. This is actually the same way you're building road, the same way you're building bridges and all those, this is another infrastructure. And we have to invest. We wanted to make sure we are taking every step to make sure our county, more than 885 square miles of our county, and we are providing that services to our citizens. And not just about school students, it's about telemedicine. It is about so many other ways people are benefiting from it, and also making sure they are living in a modern world and they're connected to the world. And I just wanted to say one more thing before I bring our IT director to talk more about it. As I was navigating through our legislative conference, and I come to find out there are so much resources, so much money available for this purpose than ever before. Our goal is to make sure and we go and find that money. And that's why we are asking for your help today to make sure you complete, you make that challenge. The Texas's map they put together to submit to the federal government we believe it is not adequate. And so that's why we are having this conversation. Being said that, I will bring Fort Bend County IT Director Robin Dottie to talk about why the broadband challenge, I should say, is so important for our county moving forward. Robin?
Thank you, Judge. Thank you. Good afternoon. The broadband challenge is important because the FCC's National Broadband Map will be used to determine eligibility will be used to determine eligibility for the distribution of federal funding, in particular the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program. This program will help fund projects that expands high-speed internet access. It supports infrastructure deployment, mapping and adoption, including planning and capacity building in local and state offices. It also supports outreach and coordination with local communities. So there are several locations that are underserved and unserved within Fort Bend County. Unserved means that these locations do not have broadband access, which is identified or classified by the FCC as download speeds of at least 25 megabits per second and upload speeds of at least 3 megabits per second. Underserved locations have speeds greater than 25 download and 3 upload megabits per second, but less than 100 download and 20 upload megabits per second. So last December, our state comptroller's office acknowledged that there are flaws within the FCC's map. And what they have determined is that the speed data that internet service providers submitted may not be completely accurate due to the inconsistencies between advertised speeds and actual speeds. So it's important that we challenge the map, and that because it will be used to determine eligibility for the distribution of BEAD funding once the final allocation for Texas is confirmed on or around June 30th of this year. We anticipate that Texas is going to receive about $3.5 billion. The BEAD program is expected to be operational in 2024.
Thank you. And Robin, you mentioned about some gig and not even gig, megabytes and all that stuff. And I tell you, we were just talking about, I subscribe to the top, whatever they have at Comcast. They said it's 1.2 gig. When I do a speed check, it never go beyond 650. I haven't seen ever. Maybe when I'm sleeping, it is happening. So that's why this 25 and 3 and all, it is not reliable at all. And I just want people to know that. And so in this effort, reaching out to the community, we realized it is so important to have our community partners. And the magic is never me or one person or one elected official, the community partners. When you think about community partners, the school district is, in my opinion, is the most integral part. We're just talking about our children not having access. They cannot do their homework. They cannot engage. Even these days, they do a lot of combined study and all, with their friends sitting somewhere, some other house and things of that nature. So we are so blessed to have one of my good friend and also Stafford Municipal School District Superintendent Dr. Bostic, and I know that this connectivity and so on and so forth is so important to him. We call him a tech superintendent. That's what he is, and so I really like to hear your perspective, sir. Please.
Thank you, Judge. Sure. Judge, thank you for the opportunity to come out and speak today. And on behalf of all superintendents of Fort Bend County, on behalf of Judge George, which I'm very honored that he decided he wanted to give me an opportunity to come up here and talk to you today about broadband connectivity in schools and throughout our communities. It is one of my passions, but there's a reason why. So what we're embarking on is actually something that's going to make history. But just like we say in the schools, it requires that you're involved in that. Because if we have patches where we can't get things out to kids, for example, we had this thing called a pandemic not too long ago. And it required that we had to provide instruction to students all over the state of Texas, all over the world, in fact, and we had to provide it through broadband, using the internet. And then we had to provide that over these devices. Well, if the devices are not getting the data or all the stuff they're supposed to get, or we have weak spots, then we're going to have some challenges in school. Well, that actually happened in every school district in Texas. I didn't miss one, in every school district in Texas.
How many
in
of
Stafford.
them that is?
There are 1,200 school districts in the state of Texas, including charter schools. 1,200. We serve over 5.1 million students in the state of Texas. And so while many of those students had opportunities to get there, if broadband activity was prevalent in their area, that was good. But if not, you had a lot of people who were sitting on grandma's couch or underneath somewhere, and they couldn't access it with that hardware that they had just gotten to actually access the homework. So that means they missed another year of what? Learning. I could say that probably no less than 30% of students in most school districts, I can tell you about Stafford, probably didn't have strong internet connectivity. Probably that was one of the reasons why they missed out on instruction. Probably that's one of the reasons they missed out on communication. Judge George and I go back a long way. He's right, 10 years. So he's known me since I first came to the community and what I started with, and he knows it's an issue that I'm highly passionate about. I applaud you, and I applaud you for picking up the ball and saying this is a priority that we have in Fort Bend County. Fort Bend County is number 2, as George said, Judge George said, in growth and how wealthy we are, and we're leading in many areas. Well, we should be leading in this one too. And the first one is making sure that we get out in our school districts, and I'm going to be first and put my money where my mouth is, and making sure that we communicate out to our community. If you don't have access to broadband, we need to know about it. And I'm going to make sure that I get that information out so the map accurately reflects what we have access to or not. I need you, sir, and you, ma'am, to join us today when we go with our judge in order to help get our kids in our community connected to the internet. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. And you heard 1,200 school districts in state of Texas. And also, Dr. Bostic, it is interesting, I heard from one of your colleagues from Elif ISD, and he said if a student miss 1 year of instruction, how long it take to catch back? 3
years to catch up.
3 years.
3 years.
Man, that is an opportunity lost, and that is horrible. If that is our children, we are not going to sit idle, and that is exactly what we are trying to do. 3 years, people. I mean, that means that young person's life is going to be put behind, 3 years behind. And probably some cases, some of them maybe never catch up. And that's a sad thing we are dealing with. And I just wanted to say, you heard from our IT expert. You heard from a superintendent who deal with schools and children. And Stafford is not out in the country. And you said how many percent do you suspect didn't have good connection?
At least 30%.
At least 30%. And that is not out in the country, I repeat. And so, but think about maybe Brazos Port Elementary or Needville ISD or many of even Lamar ISD and even Fort Bend ISD and all those people. And this initiative is called the Public Challenge. Federal Communication Commission has a map that is currently available that allows you to check your home or businesses, as our IT director said, the internet accessibility. It will identify those areas of need, but you have to complete it. Means you have to complain. You have to say, hey, I don't have that connection. Otherwise, you're never going to get noticed. And that's why we are coming to you. And the whole discussion is, help us. We wanted to help you, but we need your help. Help us to help you. And today we are going to leave all the information here available to do that. And so, like I said, to provide you with more details on this national broadband map and the public challenge is our information technology director, Robin. You wanted to say a little bit more about how they can access the information and things of that nature. I will pass it on to the expert. Yeah.
And so I want to encourage everyone to go to the Fort Bend County website. That website address is www.fbctx.gov. On the homepage, you'll see a link that if you hover over your county, and that will take you to the Broadband Initiative Challenge. And please submit your challenge so that we can assist you and residents and businesses in receiving broadband internet access.
Thank you. And students, internet connection capacity or capability and the availability of learning devices at their home are very important. We said this many times last few minutes. Actually, we are reiterating that importance because it is investing in our children's future. And that is very serious to me and everyone standing here, everyone attending. Dr. Bostic, you know that I was a school board member for almost 5 years, and I'm always passionate about investing in our children's future, and because they are our future. I will ask once again Stafford Municipal School District Superintendent Dr. Robert Bostic to come up, reiterate the point you just heard and the importance of participating in these challenges. And on the record, he said he will take every action. So now I'm going to come to Stafford if I have to, and I know, I don't doubt you will do that, and I have no doubt about it. So would you please come and conclude that conversation, the importance and how even you would be able to help the people in your area?
Thank you, Judge George. One of the things that we will do, so we're going to look forward to using that website information that was provided, and then when we get to talk to the judge and his administrative staff, so we can get it out to schools, we want to make sure that we have that in our communications to go home to mom or dad. So think about it this way. If I didn't have communication or didn't have access to broadband before this communication, I may not know that this communication even happened, because it's probably being streamed on the internet right now that you may not have access to. So we want to get that information out to them in those Tuesday folders and the Wednesday folders if they're in the younger grades and older grades, and on our website. So I can't speak for every superintendent in Fort Bend County, but I will say we'll have it on the Stafford website to make sure that they can come out there as well. And we'll look forward to any time period we need to get back from our IT director or from the judge's office on when we need to be able to get those reports back in, so you can have that information in time. Can't reiterate enough, please sir, please ma'am, let us help you, help yourselves, and help our community become the best county in the state of Texas.
Thank you, Dr. Bostic. And also, we wanted to unveil something here. You see our flyer, which will be pushed out to anyone, everyone we can show it to, we can send it to. This flyer with the information, how you're going to do, how you're going to reach out to, how you can reach out to and make sure your you are challenging the map, and we will do everything possibly we can. And Dr. Bostic is right. One of the reasons we are intentional about partnering with the school districts, because I know that they send out a daily folder. And that folder, we go back to our old-fashioned, printed papers, right? So you cannot miss that. And that's the advantage our school districts is going to bring it to us. And once again, we need your help. As you can see up there, we need your help to help you. And another promise, I just wanted to say, even we are going to look into possibly invest in, as this whole program unveil, possibly we can get some Chromebook and, things of that nature. Something I am very passionate about, because some people maybe don't have access to a machine. And if you have the best broadband, if you don't have a machine to access it, it doesn't do any good. And so we are open. To anything and everything to make sure our county is connected and our county is ready for this century and beyond. And once again, I will conclude by saying this. Please go to Fort Bend County's website, as our IT director rightfully mentioned, fbctx.gov, and you can find all the information, especially the challenge link. And also, you heard from Stafford MSD Superintendent Dr. Bostic. He is saying that they are going to link that on their website. And we are, by the way, Dr. Bostic, we are going to be meeting with all superintendents in Fort Bend County, and we will request that. Of course, it is up to them to do it. We cannot force anybody anything to do this. But I don't think anybody is going to say, oh, we don't want to, So I am confident we are going to take it seriously, and we are going to do this moving forward. So with that actually conclude our conversation. Thank you for watching. Let's challenge our map. Let's make Fort Bend County continue to be a better place. Thank you. Okay.